You know I'm gonna make you bleed for eternity. I'm the witch. I'm the witch bitch. You might be rich, bitch, but I'm the witch bitch. Yeah, I'm the witch. You're gonna fucking hate this. So suck on this, bitch.
Thank you for the bed.
Can I hear a chugga chugga?
I see you moving. You're on fire tonight. I sit behind the bar and I admire the sight.
Poggers.
What I'm feeling, baby, it ain't right or wrong. You're on a journey, honey, and I'd like to ride along. I'd like to take you out tonight, baby. But I won't go without ready to go, ready to go, ready to go.
Easy.
Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. God looks like you want it for me.
Thank you for the bed.
Ready to go,
Chugga chugga.
ready to go.
Thank you for the bed.
I said she's ready to go. We both know where this
Thank you
is going.
for
I
the
like the way
bed.
that this is flowing. I'll use this music to amuse me.
Thank you for gifting us up. Thank you for spreading love.
So I forgot my light, but what the fuck are you guys doing? Stop that! Oh my god, hold on, I totally forgot to set up my light.
Choo choo.
There we go. What the fuck are you guys doing? Stop that! Stop that! Oh my
Hey,
god!
chat. Yo, beautiful, amazing people.
What do I? Oh no! Okay, hold on. I wasn't even on screen yet. I wasn't even on screen yet.
No.
And you, hold on. I'm probably blowing your ears out. I wasn't even on screen yet, and you guys started a hype train that's already level 3.5. What the fuck are you doing? Guys!
Thank you
Stop that!
for the
Stop it! Stop
bed.
it! Stop it! God damn it! Oh my god! What are you guys doing?
Cheer one, cheer one,
I don't-
cheer
it's
one,
going
cheer
so
one, cheer
fast, I
one, cheer
don't
one,
even-
cheer one, cheer one, cheer one, cheer one, cheer one, cheer one, cheer
Alex, I'm
one,
not
cheer
even
one,
going in
cheer
the
one,
jar
cheer one,
anymore.
cheer one, cheer one.
Oh my god!
Thank you for the bed.
What the fuck?
Poggers.
Poggers. Okay, let me go through here. Let me go through here. I'm gonna say hi to everybody first. I'm just gonna pretend that there's not something happening right now. I see that, by the way. Stop that. Stop giving me money.
Thank you for gifting us up.
God damn it.
Thank you for spreading love.
Oh my god, I have sub only mode on. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that too. forgot to turn off sub-only mode. So I'm putting my chat in sub-only mode while I'm offline now. Purely because I don't want any shenanigans happening. So I forgot about that. I am so sorry. Oh my god. What are you doing here? Holy shit! I didn't expect to see you in streams. What the fuck? Thank you.
YEWWW.
Thank you for your sub. Oh man. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go through and say hi to everybody and pretend that this isn't happening, okay? Okay. Anyways, hello to Leslie and Josh and Alex and Drago and Avo and Shifter and God, this is getting harder to ignore. Oh no, I know I saw some other people that did like them young and stuff. Oh, Izzy is here. Heck.
I love you, Santi. You deserve all the love you get.
No.
Simply 347 heart Lessic Lessicus.
Oh my gosh. Primrose. Tight Pants. Darkaya, hello. Y'all are crazy. Lamp, hello. Yes, I know. Please no spoilers. Please no spoilers. I will actually probably ban you if you spoil the game. But yeah. Hello. Hello to everybody. Also, y'all can stop now. I'm gonna God damn it. Alright. Thank you for all the subs and biddies and the hype train to Avo and Leslie and Alex and Shifter.
Lessic Lessicus.
I think that's everybody.
Lessic Lessicus.
Right? Leslie, Avo, and Darkada. Alex, Leslie, Avo, Shifter, stop. God damn it. Avo, stop. You paid $80 fucking. You need to enjoy it. Right? Exactly. Yeah, I go for now getting a sensory overload from the alerts. I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely come back later, Josh. I am literally going to murder you.
Thank you for spreading love.
Just in case, Twitch mods, if you are watching this right now, that was not a threat, that was a promise. I mean, sorry, that was a joke.
Show love one, 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 show love one.
Bet? Alright. Heckin' bet. Also, the music is down too low, I'm sorry. Heckin' bet. You like the way she says the emote name? Is it gonna go? Oh, I know that was Avo's. It's so far behind on the alerts!
I like the way she says Lessic Lessicus.
Lessic Lessicus. That's so funny. The most random of money giving. I know, right, Primrose? And Shifter, no, don't do anything silly. Don't do anything silly, okay? Okay, thank you. Appreciate. So, folks, Izzy, thank you for the biddies, but you don't need to, please.
Love you too, Santi.
God dang it! What are you all doing? Stop it! Stop it! Heckin' stop it! Anyways, once this all stops, I have an announcement for you all.
I got bits, but a sub ain't one.
I got 99 bits, but a sub ain't one. Oh my god. You have a sub. Heck.
Frankersy 1, 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 Frankersy 1.
Avo, save it! Save it for what I'm about to announce! Save it, okay? Okay, so... And also, don't just spin it on me, please. Please show love to other people. Anyways. So, the announcement for you guys is that my 1 year on Twitch is coming up on the 27th, right? So the 27th, I'm pretty sure it's 27th. I might be wrong, but I'm like a 99.9% sure. Yeah, no, 26. I'm so dumb. 26 was the first time I ever streamed on Twitch. It was not an official stream, but it was my first stream. My first official stream was like the next day. But yeah, so that week is going to be a subathon. I originally was gonna plan it on the 27th and the 28th, but that was because I was still working at the arcade and had to work that week. But now that I'm not working at the arcade, I'm really flexible. So, I don't know if it's gonna be the 27th and 28th still, but I will keep you guys posted. But the week of the 27th, 2 days of that week are gonna be a subathon, okay? For my 1 year anniversary. And I have some really fun things for you guys.
Woo Subathon.
Woo Subathon! Yes. It's gonna be full of community games and games for me to play and just chatting and lots of fun. And also goals to hit, which are gonna be fun. I'm not gonna tell you them. I've told you a few of them. I don't know if y'all remember, but I'm not gonna remind you. Not yet, anyways. So let's see. Heck out of here. So week of the 27th, 2 of those days will be subathon days. I'm capping it at 2 days, 2 full 24-hour streams. If it gets to that point, because after 24 hours, I will sleep and then I will do another 24 hours. If it gets that far. However, I will not go beyond that. You have a question? Would you like to play Battle tonight? Josh, I might not be able to tonight. I will see though. I will see. I'm giving you time to save money. Aw, shit. And don't worry. I'm going to set the incentives pretty high because I know y'all are fucking insane. And I don't want it to be easy for you. But anyways, Hype Train's about to end. Thank you guys so much for your Hype Train. To everybody who contributed, I appreciate you all so much. You all are amazing with a level 4 Hype Train. What the heck? Y'all are crazy. Daddy Avo will take care of 90% of it. You'll do the 10% more? No, Avo, no. You have 150 sub. Okay, so keeping that in mind, if you're actually planning to spend all of me, please don't, by the way. But I will keep that in mind. But yeah, so in Discord after stream today, actually I'll do it right now. Why don't I just do right now? I'm gonna put it in the general chat. There's gonna be a text channel that has subathon stuff in it. If you guys have suggestions that you want to see for the subathon, or like incentives or goals to hit, games to play, music to listen to, whatever, make sure music is DMCA free. Let me know in this channel. So let me.
I did hear a chugga chugga tee-hee.
Chugga chugga tee-hee. Oh my god. Yeah, you guys did a level 4 Hype Train. Y'all are fucking insane. Okay, so I made the subathon in the general area, and if you guys want to go and I just hit something. If you guys want to go into Discord, Discord is right here, and you can put ideas for like whatever you want to in there. Incentives, goals to hit, prizes for you guys, whatever ideas you may have that you might think that I didn't think of, or that you want to see, games to play, whatever, put it in there, put it in there. You want Sandy to do a dramatic reading of the what movie? Excuse me, the what movie? I was expecting you to say the B movie. Not that. Almost stop it. Thank you for the biddies. I appreciate you. But Jesus Christ. Valorant fanfics? Alright, put it in the Discord channel. Put it in the Discord channel. I'm not gonna remember that at all. I hope you know. So unless it's in there, it's in one ear and out the other. You're 9K away from the 50K badge? Bruh. Stop that. That's $500. Even more that you had to spend to buy them. What the heck, Abba? Just 5 minutes of Sadie saying gamer can't swim. I mean, I would do a minute of that, like what Bort does when he does Bort mode. I could do that. Gamer can't swim. Gamer can't swim. Yeah, I could do that. I could definitely do that. He has to be there for it though. He totally has to be there for it. Alright. Thank you for the biddies. Anyways, so that was a big announcement. Subathon, week of the 27th. It might still be on the 27th and 28th, but Gamer's doing a little something that weekend as well. So I might move it forward a day to be the 28th and 29th. We'll see. We'll see. God, Avo, thank you, but stop. Save your muns. So there's that, and also I know it'd be on your birthday. I know. I'm still thinking about the dates. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and what Josh mentioned earlier, I was on Hover today. So if y'all don't know, Hover is a brand new app that's basically like TikTok. They're in the beta right now, but it's specifically for streamers and gamers to get their content out there. It has really good discoverability and it has its own algorithm system. It's really good. Like when I first signed up for it, I gained so many followers. I don't know what to say. Like I gained a lot of followers from just joining the app, and people have been liking my content on there. And also, I was on their stream today on top 16 for one of their challenges, and I got second place. With the clip where I was playing with Gamer and I was just falling into oblivion on Fall Guys. Thank you, Avo. But yeah, you can post clips on there up to a minute long, just like you can on TikTok. And you can put them into different categories and competitions on there, and who knows, maybe you might win one of their stream contests too and get some money out of it. Get some recognition out of it too. Yeah. Do I own any instruments? Yes, Alex, I own a flute, piccolo, clarinet, bass clarinet, alto clarinet,
Mr. Destructoid 1, 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 Mr. Destructoid 1.
I also have a glockenspiel. I have a record player. That's not really an instrument, but what else do I have? I have a janky ass guitar. And I want to get a ukulele. We're getting a Titanic flute cover right. Oh my god. I have a kazoo somewhere, but I don't know where. The first stream you ever watched? Yes, that clip was from the first stream you ever watched. Did you see your message about Goose Goose Duck? You're not mad if you didn't? I did not. Hold on. Let me click on your name and I'll just look at it right now. Actually that's not working. I'll scroll. You wanna get a Goose Goose Duck night going with some challenges? Ooh! Yeah, I'd be down, Josh. Just let me know when. Send me a message or something. Dude, a violin would be amazing. I cannot do string instruments to save my life. It's so difficult. You're done for now? Good. Thank you, Avo. I appreciate all of what you did. But no more. That should be a subathon goal. I'm not giving anything away, but I may or may not have something that has an instrument to do with it. As a plan, maybe, potentially. You used to play But oh, you used to play violin? Oh man. I need to hear that sometime. Yeah, block the G string. God damn it, Alex. Oh my god. Yeah, crazy. You play the ukulele? No way. Get out of here, no way. You teach me how to play, Josh. Teach me how to play the ukulele. Also, I don't... What the heck? You have a 6-month sub badge. Darkado, what the heck? You have a 6-month sub badge? How did I like not know that? Also, why is this not a thing? Have fun with the new badge.
It was this many away from 1,000.
Hell yeah, Leslie. You've been an OG the whole time? Oh my god. Oh my god. I think Berg almost has the 1-year badge. If I'm remembering correctly. I don't even know if I have a 1-year badge on here. Hold on. Let me just... I do have a 1-year badge. It's Poiple. Poiple. I totally forgot about that one. Your new fave instrument is a synth piece? Ooh. Need more into producing music, so you've been fucking around with the synths all day. Oh my gosh. Hey, if you ever need anything, like instrument-wise, played live to like record and like put into something, let me know. And I can see if I can do it. Is that you did some of the very start? No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to. I think Berg and potentially Gamer might be the only ones that are close to a year. I think. Alex is a couple months away. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that it's just those two. They're like super close to a year badge. Super close. I don't know about demo. I don't know. Gage! Gage, fuck off. Okay, stay. How are you, Gage? Debuting new emotes on Halloween streams? You just spent another 100 Canadian rupees to commission 6 redacted theme emotes. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, Gage. I said I'm kidding. No, stay. If you want to, you don't have to. You can fuck off if you want to. Oh yes, Alex, I can't wait to see them though. I can't wait to see them. You can't ban me, it's my stream. I can ban you though. Do I have any 10k plus biddy emotes? I have all the biddy emotes unlocked, I believe. I wanna say... those are all my biddy emotes? But I need to, I need to, like, figure out what I actually want to do with my theme. And actually get, like, themed emotes for all of them. Because right now it's just kind of all over the place. How to ban the OP? Bruh. Bruh. Or are you saying op? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that now. You have these? Well then, I think you need this one. Because I think, if I remember... Wait, is this also one? Is that also a bit emote? No, it's a tier 3. I'm dumb. I don't even know what my own emotes are. Okay, anyways, like the other 5 are the bit emotes. But yeah. I'm so dumb. You don't think I have the 75k one? I have all of the bits ones unlocked that Twitch will allow me to unlock. I have looked at my dashboard and it will not allow me to unlock anymore. So, yeah. You need Viper? Yeah, Viper's a good one. I like the Viper one. Yeah, 50k bits is the last one that they allow you to unlock. And I have 17 people are at the 1k, 7 people are at 5k, 4 people are at 10k, and 1 person, I'm assuming Avo, is at the 25k. Nobody has hit 50k yet. Nobody has hit 50k, so you would be the first one. Yours was saying you would unlock a 75k slot. Are you serious? Really? Mine says that I can't. Unless it won't appear until somebody hits the 50k. That's a possibility. That's a very good possibility that it won't show itself until then. But I do have more emotes to put on for the 75k. Are they worth it? Probably not. But I do have some. I won't appear until I got somebody at 50. Oh, okay. Then yeah. That's fine then. Trev! Trevor! How are you doing? Trev, are you affiliate now?
Simply 347 heart. Simply 347 heart. Simply 347 heart.
Thank you so much for the sub. Are you affiliated now? I'm so hyped for you to get affiliated. I want your founder's badge. Music 3 more times. Okay, 3 more times, and then I'm getting that heckin' founder's badge. Bet. I'm gonna snipe it. Alex rich over there 50k. What? No, Alex, you better not. Better not. Oh, I didn't see it, but you better not. Petition to switch to Simply Cozy to a 10k bit emote? Would you guys rather me put the Cozy as a bit emote? I can put it as the 1k so more people have it. I just don't know which one I would switch out. Maybe I can make... I don't know, I'm thinking. I don't know which one to put where now. If I were to do that. I'll think about it, let's see. I'll see what we can do. You want it so bad. I know. Hi, Britt. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. Britt, we just announced a subathon for sometime during the week of the 27th. I haven't decided yet. It's gotta be somewhere in those first 3 days. You want 50k bits is not that much. A little less than 1,000. Bruh. That you say a little less than 1,000 is not that much? Excuse me? Excuse me? No. Oh man, you're off both those days? Alright, I can't do the 26th because I have obligations that day. But I'm thinking about either starting at the 27th or 28th. I'm leaning more towards the 28th. Just because of things that are happening that weekend. But we'll see. I think I'm gonna need a day to recuperate. Because, so Gamer's doing his like overnight streams that weekend. And normally the mods like stay up while he sleeps. So that somebody could watch the stream and like entertain and stuff. So I might be doing that at least one of the days, if not multiple. So we'll see if we'll see. I might just do it the 28th so I can have a day to like sleep. Swap Cozy with one of those. But see, I want both of the EVs to be on the bits though. I might just like move them up and then put one of the others down on a tier 2. I could even put my what emote as a tier 2 and then put something like just a throwaway on tier 3. Cause yeah, just tier 3 is a throwaway. Also, I'm so sorry to all you tier 3 subs. I will be getting out all your postcards hopefully like within a week. Because I am so far behind on all of those, it's not even funny. It's so not even funny. You're supposed to be off on the 30th? Hype! Hype, hype! Hope you have a good few days off. Sounds like you get to get your days off relatively like put them in between like your days that you work. So it's like, I don't know, to me that's better. If you work a couple days and then get a day off and then work a couple more days and then get another day off. I don't know, I like that. I like that a lot. Hi, Bunny! What do you mean, what's going on? Is my stream working? I'm sorry if it is. If Sadie knows how much you spent on bits for Twitch, she'd probably fly here and cut your card half. Yeah, probably. I don't want to know. Like, I know how many you have on your account right now. I don't want to know how much you spent on Twitch in general. Ever. No. I wasn't. I was just like, I was thinking about how to word things. My brain was eating itself into oblivion, so I'm fine. Don't worry. You honestly want to keep the original 1K bit reward, the tier one you don't care about, but you like Eevee as your 1K? See, I don't know. I'll have to see what everything looks like. I'm not gonna be able to please everybody. Like, that's a fact. I'm not gonna be able to please everybody, but we'll see. Get your second shot on the 26th? Hell yeah! Good job. I'm excited for you. I don't know why I said good job, but that's awesome. That's good that you're getting it. I'm excited for you. Definitely make sure you get lots of rest, drink lots of water, and take an aspirin. Like, if you take an aspirin beforehand, it helps a ton. Oh, wait, you make me happy, bunny. Yes. With the emote library, you can rotate fairly easy. Yeah, I know. I have a bunch of emotes in the library. Just! Oh my god! Also, Dingly boy, hello. I'm gonna put you over here so you don't come over at me. Thank you. Hi Jess, how are you doing? Oh my god, Jess!
Thank you for gifting us.
We just had 100!
Thank you for spreading love.
Thank you for gifting us the pointer clicker. Oh my god. Yeah, your bestie got it. Thank you so much, Jess. Take that, nerd. No, Avo! Stop that. I don't want to see how much you spent on Twitch. I'm not reading it. Bunny, thank you for the host. Holy heck. That's more than you made in a year? Yeah! That's like slightly less than I make in a year. But like, it's close to it. It's close to it. I know, right? Actually insane. Donate to you. No. Oh, don't say that. He actually will. He's insane. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. Avo, save your muns. Save your muns, Avo. Are we ready to start game? Because I'm really excited to start game. Like, I've been hyped for a new Life is Strange game for a very long time, and I'm ready to start game. Y'all ready to start game? Probably more than you spit. You don't buy bits that often. Ah, yeah, that's fair. You're gonna do really well this year since you bring in about 4K a month. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Sugar baby bunny signing up for the websites. Oh god. Oh gosh. You guys are actually insane. Alex, that's too much! Also, yes, this is the new one. Okay, I'm gonna stop the music. We stopping the musics. We are going to switch over to the game machine once I switch this over. Shit. Look at how pretty it is! Oh my god, I'm so excited. You have no idea, guys, how excited I am to start this game. I've been waiting for the new Life is Strange game for so long before it was even announced. Like, I am so hyped for this game, you have no idea. Actually, zero clue. Alright. I thought about streaming Life is Strange 2 before this game came out, but it's okay. Yo, why is this not letting me? Ah, there we are. I need to pull my panels out a little bit more so I'm prepared for shit to go wrong. Yes. Okay. Anyways, music, gorgeous. Actually gorgeous. I need to turn it down though. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Also, there might be points to where I have to mute stream audio for a hot second because I don't feel like getting DMCA'd. Wait, guess what? What? Say what? What? You guys don't even want to know how much actual PayPal donos? Yeah, I don't. I don't want to know, Avo. Stop trying to tell us. This has a streamer mode? Wait, does it actually? You're gonna get banned for panhandling? Oh my god. You're not gonna get banned for panhandling. Oh my god, wait! No way! I can mute licensed music? Also, I ain't letting you choose anything, I'm sorry. Maybe for a second playthrough, but you ain't gonna fuck up my game. Sorry about ya. Oh man, okay, muting licensed music, let's go. Sorry for any awkward silences. Subtitles are on, I already did that earlier. I know, the game is smart. Like, Life is Strange has amazing music. Most of which is licensed. And I was like, I was really kind of like sweating starting this game because I was like, oh no, how many minutes of this stream is gonna be muted audio? I don't want to get banned. Oh god. Use music automatically has assistant let chat pick. Yeah, I ain't picking any of my choices. Maybe another time when I play through it again, if that happens. But, like I said, you ain't gonna fuck up my game. Cause I know you guys will! Y'all are crazies. Actual crazies. Also, I wanna turn my cam. There. Is my... Hold on. Hold on. Is there not a video? Oh, there's a video. I just can't read. Full screen. Medium. Whoa, unlimited. Let's go to 60. Alright, cool. Cool. Okay, it's not as pretty now, but I saw my graphics card struggling, okay? I saw it struggling. Oh man. Can we have opinions? You can have opinions all you want, but I don't trust you guys to make decisions in my game. Thank you for sharing the list you added to the document. Yeah, no problem. I saw it like on Twitter or something. I don't remember. Don't understand why Santy is not trusting us. We're all pure-minded. Yeah, of course you're pure-minded. Of course you are. I know, Don't Nod come back to me. I miss them too. Don't Nod was amazing. You prefer the term eccentric. Gage, you're not pure. You're far from it, dude. Oh gosh. Wait, what did you tell me? Wait, what did you tell me? I want to know. It is still pretty, but it's not as pretty. Alright, we're starting a new game. Let's see, what did you tell me? What did you think you told me? I love these colors! Story-based game that features player's choice. Actions and decisions will have consequences for Alex and those around her. Ah! This is gonna get really confusing, Alex.
So,
Alex, meet Alex.
The day's finally here. You've been at the Helping Hands group home for 8 years. We've been through a lot in that time.
We have.
And now you're finally leaving to live with your brother.
Welcome, Raiders. Welcome,
It says here you
Raiders.
lives
I
in Haven
hope
Springs,
you
Colorado.
enjoy your stay.
Is
We
that
have
correct?
lots of laughs and fun here,
That's a big
and no,
move.
you don't have to
Do you
pay.
have any plans
What?
to start school?
Hi!
Haven't been
What the
following
heck?
Alex.
Never thought I might pick up the
Oh my god! What are you all doing? How do I pause this game? Okay. I don't know what's happening anymore.
What?
you. I appreciate you guys. You just dunked gamer. Oh god. Please tell me somebody actually clipped that. Yo.
Yeah.
So if somebody clipped the dunk, please send it to me. Also, gamer and all you guys who are in the stream together, you guys were amazing today. Love the stream. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you all. Please, can we give gamer another shout out? Go follow gamer if you haven't already. Like, for real, go follow gamer. One of my best friends here on Twitch and an amazing person just did a hot tub stream with a bunch of IRL friends. Like, it was so fun. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. How is everybody? I need to go scroll through chat. Hold on. Oh my god, you guys. Holy heck. Fat rate of 24 people? Jesus. Tim, Drago, Cupcake, Kate, Avo, Lewis, Keith, Trevor is here still? Oh my gosh. Holy heck. And Luna? Hi, Luna. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. How is everybody? Don't shout me out. Shout yourself out. Go shout yourself out. Thank you for shouting out Beth as well. I appreciate you. Feel free to shout out the other people that were in the raid or in the stream too. Like Duckysaurus and yeah. Oh my god, Tim! Stop it! Stop it! 10 subs! Are you kidding me? What the heck? Gage, you have a sub now. Congrats. And Luna got one too! Oh my god! And Britt and Lamp? Holy heck! Let's go! Yes, thank you for shouting out Tim! Tim was there too! And then you can shout out like Stove and Jesse and Bugs and Beagle and like all the people that were there. There's so many awesome people. Tanya was there. Peaches. Holy heck! Thank you guys so much! Tim, you didn't have to do that! Thank you for the subs! Thank you for the gifted subs! By the way, guys, for everyone who's still here, I announced a subathon today. It's going to be the week of the 27th. I haven't decided the exact date yet. I think it's gonna start the 28th though. I'm like 95% leaning towards the 28th. But that week, I'm gonna have a subathon. It's my 1 year on Twitch. And I just want to celebrate with you guys. So it's gonna be lots of fun. And if you're in my Discord, there is a channel in there that you guys can follow to keep up with any announcements for the subathon, as well as make suggestions for like games you want to play, games you want to see me play, incentives or goals that you want to see, like whatever you guys would want to see on a subathon. There's a place in there for you guys to make suggestions too. So that's that. Thank you guys so much for coming over to our stream. I appreciate you all. Yes, thank you for shouting out Stove and for Bugs too. Yes. You cannot type their name from memory. I know, I'm sorry. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of people. Oh man, I'm just gonna scroll through and see. Okay, we got most of them. Thank you for shouting out Beagle too. I appreciate you. Alright, so what we're doing right now, guys, is we just hit play as soon as, like, right before you raided. Oh my god! Darkada. Oh my god. Thank you so much for giving a bit. Wayne Peony. You feel obligated to come to the stream more often now that you have a sub? Nah, you don't have to. You don't have to. You're not obligated to do anything. Thank you for shouting out Tanya. I appreciate you. But what we did right before you guys came in was we literally just hit start on the game. So this is the new Life is Strange. Life is Strange True Colors. Just came out a few days ago on Thursday. And I'm super hyped to start playing it with you guys. No, there's no more where that came from. Stop that. How does 9 Eastern Time next Friday sound for Goose Goose Duck? Let me check my calendar real fast. 9 p.m. I could probably make that. 9. Yeah, cosplay would be on Saturday. Yeah, I could do that. I have a con this weekend. That's why my brain was like, what? But yeah, hit me up. Send me a message. Thank you for shouting out Jesse. I'm sorry if we missed anybody. I also have a shit memory. But those are at least most of the people that were in Gamer's stream. So go give all of them a follow and check them all out. They're all awesome people. You want a Becky cosplay? Oh, alright. I can try that. I need to remember what she looks like, but I can try that. Alright, we're gonna continue the game, okay? We're gonna continue the game. Safety cosplay? Oh, just you wait. Just you wait, bunny. I cosplay in real life. I will be cosplaying for Halloween again, too. So don't you worry. Just wait. Just wait. I got you. Alright, we're hitting continue on the game now. Let's go.
Maybe.
Ah, thank you, Gage.
Does your brother know about your issues?
Is that an official interview question, Dr. Lin?
Alex, you know that I care about you. With everything that has happened, I just want what's best for you.
He doesn't know. No one will once I leave this place. I'll just be a normal girl in a normal town.
Aww. Yeah, Bunny, I'll have to send you some pictures sometime. I don't know if I have any in my selfies channel in Discord, but I'll have to send you some pictures sometime. They're so much fun. I love cosplaying. Thank you, Darkada. Jesus. I want to call you just Dark, but like that's your brother's name. I would get hella confused. You have to come to my stream? No, you're not canceling your stream. Hell, we can fucking co-stream, dude. You're not gonna cancel your stream? Fuck that. I won't allow it. Alright. Also, guys, let me know.
Gabe said to meet him at the bridge. I can't wait to see him.
Let me know, guys, if my stream is like having any frame issues, because I can turn stuff down if need be. Also, if my character is gonna be over there the whole time, I might change scenes. Nah, she should be fine. It should be fine. They just shoot Larry. They just shoot Larry for what? For what? Oh, for the co-stream, we could do that. Yo, this is gorgeous. Look at how pretty this is. Holy. I like her outfit. That's like totally something I would wear too, honestly. Cute. You have another costume for a Halloween stream? Ooh. Wait, do I know what it is? I know, I wish I was there too. It's so pretty. Is that an elk? Or a moose? Or a deer? They don't look like deer. The antlers look too weird for a moose. I'm gonna guess elk. Have I played Road 96? I have not, but my friend Quilpy has. And she plays it on stream, and it has been having fun with it. This game is on Switch? Really?
That's really him.
That's amazing. Aw, how cute! How heckin' cute.
What's the protocol for reuniting with your long-lost sister after 8 years?
Yeah, hug.
I'm cool with the hug if you are.
Consequences of a hug? I guess consequences could be good or bad.
Touching my ribs still part of the protocol.
Yes, it is.
It's just so good to see you again. I can't believe you're here.
Believe it.
It wasn't a bad hug. It was the bestest of hugs. And that's alright. That's alright, Leslie.
She's all grown up.
Wait, she can read minds?
Missed it.
She can read minds?
I'm a lot taller, huh?
Yeah.
We have a
do that
brand new
Are
friend
you ready to see the
with us. Thank you so
Hi,
much
Christopher.
for the follow.
Do you mind if I just call you Chris? Or do you have something else that you would like for me to call you? Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's rock and roll.
Also, Alex,
I don't know
is
why I
Tiny
said that.
Cactobot on right
Me
now?
neither.
Do you know? I can't remember
I
if you
love
turned it on or not.
Okay, the Black Lantern is just up the street. I mentioned I live above.
It is
bar,
not?
right?
Okay, cool.
Even better.
I may or may not have antagonized Twitter.
You must be right.
I'm good.
I'm really waiting for people to come in here. I want to test it so bad.
Eleanor, hey, Alex just got here. Alex, meet Eleanor Lath, owner of
Yeah,
the flower
Alex,
shop
I'd love to
and
learn.
honest
That'd be
to God,
great.
Royalty of Haven Springs.
Oh, it is so nice to finally meet you. Welcome. Oh,
Yeah, Darkada, that was me. I sing all of my alerts.
Gabe told us
Except for my donation alert, which I still haven't
Glad to
recorded
be
yet.
here.
Twitter's the worst platform to mess with. I know it is, but I also have my account privated right now.
A little quick on the draw with hugs, though.
Yeah, no shit.
But I may or may not have antagonized Twitter
Welcome to Haven.
to help me test out the bot. As in, please hate raid me. I crave violence, guys. I wanna just yeet some bots, dude. Hell yeah! Tiny Cactobot in the house, let's go! Hell yeah. Brown Bear Diner. I almost said dinner. Ooh, kayaks. Yo,
That's nice.
give me a kayak. What does that say? Left?
Is this
Leaf?
the first official stop on the
Lathe?
Absolutely. If you follow me inside, you'll find.
I don't know what this said.
Gabe Chen buys makeup flowers for angry girlfriend.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's gotten so-so reviews.
Oof. Flowers for an angry girlfriend. I'm gonna say right now, that doesn't work for everybody.
Sickness.
What?
Personally, I'd rather have
Been
chocolate.
debating this one for days.
Gabe insists that I give an honest answer.
It's always better to give an honest answer.
And what's the alternative?
Josh, worried about getting hate rated every stream. Santasia, bring it. I know. I know. I'm like the odd one out here, but
I saved too many.
I want to just like
Smell that bullshit
I
a mile
want
away. I've
I
been trying
want
to warn you.
violence.
Oh,
I
yeah?
crave violence,
What would
okay?
you do?
I would be clever. Telling the truth only gets you so far.
Oh,
I may or may not have
You're outnumbered.
not heard what she asked.
He'll come around eventually.
Did not mean to include the. That's fine.
Alex, help me out real quick.
I understood what you said. Could always do the classic post stream on 4chan and see what happens.
Sunflowers are her favorite,
No!
but I read online.
Oh, I feel like I'd get
Lily of the
non-stop
Valley is
ones
good for
after
saying
that.
sorry. What do you think?
Woke up and chose violence. Hell yeah, I did. Yeah, Lily of the Valley. Let's go.
Go with the white bouquet. If you're trying to say sorry,
Don't anger the four boyos. Oh no.
I will.
Honestly, wish they would try shit on you. You have something called now. Get ready for this. Emo only mode. Oh my gosh.
Flowers half as often.
Some of them I've seen with some
Still on and off with you two?
weird emotes,
Sort of.
but
More
most of them are
on
just
right now,
text
but
or follow
if I
botting.
once and ask again.
Get out of it, you fucking cunt! Or you get out of it, you fucking
You
mongrel!
sure you don't want to
Hell
sit down
yeah.
for an interview?
Thank you, Pointer Clicker. I fucking love that one.
Handle it.
Okay, your call. We can leave when you're ready.
Violent flowers incoming. No. Wait, you're
might as well
calling
have a
me.
look around before we
What?
leave.
You're calling me? I don't know. Calling it. I was gonna say, you're not calling me. I ain't seen nothing come up.
Mandatory for any enchanted garden.
This game is hard to hear. Is it? Okay, okay, hold on. Give me a second. Drago! Drago, thank you for the host! I thought it was too loud earlier, so I turned it down. Oh, cancel. We're not quitting, we're continuing. Alright, alright.
Oh, no category for estranged brother you
Because,
haven't
like,
seen
to
in
me
8
that's a
years
little too
because you-
loud. Hold on. Hold on.
Were ripped apart by the foster care system?
Aww.
That's a shame.
That's sad.
You can make anything pretty if you shove a bouquet inside.
Leslie, thank you for the host, heck. Heck. Also, I don't know, Gage. Sometimes people do things. You never know. Alex, please. Is that the Green Drago? It looks like it is the Green Drago. Oh, that's adorable. It matches his outfit.
Guy's bad to the gnome.
Bad to the
I heard he
gnome.
won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Stop. No problem.
Oh my god, that's amazing! Micah! What are you doing? How are you?
The tiny house movement is really taking off.
Okay, these guys have a sense of humor. I like it. I like it. Wait, I don't want the
I
sunflowers.
hope Charlotte likes the lilies.
Just build an end table? What? Also, Josh, thank you for the host. There we go. I also thank you for the stream. I'm like, what? But what kind of end table did you build? That sounds amazing.
Aw, I wonder who they are.
They're cute.
Cute, right?
Yes, I just said that. Wow, you're the mind reader now.
No, but they were like family. Alistair and Ava Murphy. Nana bought the building
Damn.
from them before I was born.
Alright, is there anything else? Hold that when... Oh! Oh!
What if I don't get in? Shit. What if I do get in? Am I really ready to leave this place?
If Riley's so anxious about leaving this town, I guess it can't be too bad.
Interesting. I like
Kill
this.
Everything You Touch. A Flower Book by Alex Chen.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's me. That's me. I do that. Yep. Alright. Sitting in the
Does
chair?
anyone actually sit in the decorative
Nope.
store chair?
Apparently I can't sit in it. Alright. What are y'all sharing? Wait. Can you wait into your chat thingy to host you? Get followed by a host? Oh no! Poor Josh. Just go through and ban them all preemptively. Well, then you can put your PC on. Pog. Let's go.
Derail her entire life.
If you want to, feel free to put it in Discord. Yeah, that word.
Hopefully my advice doesn't derail her entire life. I'm sure it's fine.
You thought about trying to be a streamer, but you're too shy these days? Heck, you could do anything you want to, dude. If you want to do it, go for it. We'll be here to support you. Alright, I guess we're leaving. Let's go.
Ready?
You just realized you didn't ban it? Go back and ban it! No!
Thanks. See
Go
you
back
soon,
and
Ryan.
ban it! Should talk sometime? Yeah, dude. I'm down. How late you're staying up? If you could stream, literally anybody can. Oh my god, Alex, please. You have a good stream, hush.
You must spend a lot of money on bouquets.
She's worth it.
Aww. Cute.
Watch your feet now. It's getting windy. My feet are fine.
Wait, can I not? Okay. Warning! Warning!
Well, here we are.
What's the warning? I want to know what the warning is.
Wow. Good to know.
Automating blasting? Typhoon mine. Oh. And I right? The community here is so great.
Wow.
Y'all are amazing.
Just wow.
Namaste. Goat yoga. Hey. Hey, that's amazing. I want goat
What
yoga.
the shit is goat yoga?
Yoga. With goats.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome to Colorado.
Colorado.
I bet
Let's
Gabe
go.
keeps the flower shop in business all by himself.
Newspaper.
Local beekeeper breaks state record for total number of bees.
Total number of bees. Stop
Thank you
it!
for
Hey,
gifting
don't
us
hate.
Stop it!
How many bees do you have?
Thank you for spreading
last
love.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey, the tiny cactobot got it! Oh my god. It's so easy, it makes it fun. It shouldn't be that easy. Also, I hope to god you're not doing that on
Alex,
mobile.
wait up.
You better be doing that on a PC. Dude, I tried talking to you and you didn't do anything.
Gabe keeps the flower shop
Yeah,
in
see?
business all by himself.
Oh, because I put look, not speak.
Gabe Chen. Flower
Just wait until the
delivery
part where
I know,
Shrek
right?
comes out and says, "Get
Let me
to
duck in here and
Alamy
smooth everything
Swamp."
out. It'll only be a
No.
minute.
Hey, no
I'll introduce you
spoilers.
properly
No
later.
spoilers.
Once, you know.
man. It's no problem.
If
really.
Shrek is in here, I don't want to know yet. Let me figure it out myself.
It's gonna be longer than a minute. Trust me.
Aw, cutie.
Hi there.
Gabe's your brother, right? I'm Ethan. Charlotte's my mom.
Hi, Ethan. I'm Alex.
Aw.
What you reading?
Ninth Warden.
Oh, has she found the Scepter of Serenity yet?
She's looking for the scepter, but I think she'll need the Bangle of Vanishing to get to it.
I wanted to turn invisible so bad when I was a kid.
Aw.
Still
Look at
do
them
sometimes, to be
bonding.
honest.
You can get away with anything if you're invisible. And no one can stop you.
How cute.
If you like comics, I can show you the one I'm making.
I'd love to see it.
Oh, what is it? What's he gonna be making? Wait, did he draw
You can
that?
keep it if you want. I made a bunch of copies to sell in the record store.
This is awesome.
Did he
Ethan.
draw that?
can't
Oh
wait
my
to read it.
gosh. Lightning
Are
McQueen
you
comes
going
out and
camping?
chops loops in the car.
You know the mines?
Bruh, stop
they
giving
exist.
spoilers.
There are
You're
a bunch
like
of
you're
old
like
tunnels
one
all
more
around the mountains.
spoiler away from a ban.
found a big
No. Yeah, exactly,
I'm not an
Leslie. Get the
expert on
ban
the
pan
lines,
ready.
But that would scare the crap out of me.
I just like to explore sometimes. It's no big deal.
Alright, Alex, you're getting the ban. You're getting the
Aw.
ban, Alex.
I shouldn't have told you that.
I have no room to judge. Gabe and I used to get into all sorts of places we didn't belong.
Lightning McQueen is the car?
Thanks, Alex.
What? What?
I think I'll
Chopping
check
loops
out
in the
that
Lightning
record store.
McQueen.
Nice meeting you, Ethan.
Oh heck. Rocky Mountain Record. Ooh, I want to go in there. Yo. Let's go in the record shop. No? Alright, cool. We can go in there later. And then part of when Alex says, "You kind of smell like a baka. Eren Yeager." Jaeger spelled with a J. Eren Yeager. Well, I guess it depends on which language you're spelling it in. Thinking about it. Timber, oh no.
From his shitty car wash job
Wait,
just to buy us something to
Alex.
listen
Alex.
to. It's crazy. Here I am, years later, still waiting for my big brother in the
Hold on, I
record
have
store.
thoughts. Leslie, yes, you could do that.
Except this
Alex,
time,
do you know how to
I'm
make
buying
commands for my account, or do I need to do it?
no way.
No, that's not what I thought you meant. That's not what I thought you meant, but that works too.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna do the voice thing. You know, with Cloud Boy, but not as mod. Alright, alright. Zombie Parade, let's do that. I have an idea. So, like, the timber score thing, maybe we can make, like, a random number generator one, like 1 through 100, and it'd be, like, exclamation mark timber, and then you can find out what your timber score is.
That was the Wednesday with Bomb Squad. Up next,
Maybe after this little scene right here, I can do that.
some chick.
Oh! Oh, you see that look? Checking her out hard. Wow, wow.
Sorry, the store's actually closed right now. Which is confusing because it's obviously open. Wait. Are you Alex?
That's me.
Wow. Gabe's been talking about you coming since
Aww.
forever.
How cute.
Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you.
So, all the way from Portland, huh? What do you think of Haven?
Cool so far.
I've seen some cool things so far. Like, this record store is amazing. I didn't expect anything like this here.
Heck yeah.
It's a cultural landmark for sure.
So, the store is closed, but they opened it just for you? You must be picking up something pretty important.
Yeah, well, you could say that.
Aww.
An outdoorsman's
That's
guide
so
to the
cute. What the
calls of
heck?
Common birds. Wow, that's...
What the heck? I don't want to be mean to him. I'll just say nerdy.
the nerdiest thing I've ever seen. And I owned 2
Schoolhouse Rock! Oh my gosh! Wait, do you guys remember Schoolhouse Rock? Like, I'm just a bill. That song? You remember that one?
Totally for fun.
Sitting on Capitol Hill. Something like that.
You're
Alright, conjunction, junction. What's your function? Oh my gosh. Schoolhouse Rock was the best, dude.
Bummer the store's closed. I was thinking of getting a gift for Gabe, but I'll figure something else out. I don't even know if he still listens to records.
He does. Charlotte just got him a record player for his birthday.
Did he come here to talk about school?
I'm pretty sure.
Dude, I'm listening to Schoolhouse Rock at home, not at school.
So you don't work here?
Just triggered half your chat. You know what? Heck out.
If I could just find
Schoolhouse Rock was a bop, okay? I didn't learn shit from it, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I know I saw it before. Want to help me look?
Oh, yeah. Any ideas on where to start?
I am not gonna say yes or no.
No idea. Steph leaves stuff all over the place.
Oh, God.
Hero of the intergalactic
Mr. Sass.
And friend.
To Oh, man. You know we missed you. Alright, listen. Let's go. Is it gonna go down? Is it bruh. Next thing Sandy is gonna say is she like, I did like Kids Bop, okay? Oh my god.
So
I listened to a bunch of Kids Bop. Also, I missed the music.
A tiny town, so
sorry for the awkwardness.
Sickness is the price of entry.
See remote no music, I know.
Record store and dispensary.
It's not the same, but I don't want to get banned. Oh my god. Also, at the job that I just quit,
like I could wake up back in that group.
all we listened to on the radio was Kids Bop. Like we would play Kids Bop radio on Pandora.
It's my home now.
Because it was a family-friendly place. They could at least add some royalty-free stuff. I know, right? Like some drum bits or something. I don't know. It was not that bad. You get used to it. It's better than working retail during Christmas. Dude, when I was in high school, I worked at Goodwill. And Christmas, like, all of November through January, I just wanted to pull my hair out literally every single second I was there. Like, please.
I'm gonna say this wrong.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us music to listen to. Oh man. Cinematic hits worse without music. Well, here we have music. Got music. Look at her, she's jamming out to it over there too. Let's go. Thank you, Alex. Let's go. Also, I think I'm supposed to hit a button. I don't know. Yeah, I am. Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't know how to beatbox. It's just go like booty cat, booty cat. There you go. That's what beatbox is. Booty cat, booty cat. Oh man.
How very small town.
Family portraits. Hey, if anybody needs pictures done, hit me up. I'm trying to restart my business.
I'm
Ooh,
detecting an indie pattern.
delightful.
Okay.
Forbidden songs. Adam and Steve, forbidden songs. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Area 51. Did I say ASL? Dude, I like that. Welp. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Do you have the power to add command? I don't know. You can try. I don't know how it works with Stream Elements chatbot.
Wait. Is that the hold list?
Doing photographs through Discord webcam? I can do that. Honestly though, I've seen people do that. Where they just like screenshot and then they edit it and then they send it back. I've seen people do that. I can do that if y'all want.
We have a brand
Hey, look at that! Look, here we go, guys! Welcome in, bots! Welcome in! Yeah! Let's go! Welcome to all the bots. How y'all doing? Do something. Do something! Do something!
Thank you so much for the follow.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Thank you for banning them.
Anywhere else?
We have a
I wonder if that pilot Mike is a bot. Hey Mike, if you're not a bot, would you mind say something in chat?
Just gonna... Okay, just kidding.
We have a brand new friend with us.
Thing is,
thank you so much
Oh
for
my God.
the follow.
All right, we can turn those alerts off now, right? Right. Thank you.
Report on Jane
Haas once, what's up? Remember when you followed me 3 seconds ago? Oh god. Yo, for real though? For real though? I'm wondering if that pilot Mike person's a bot. I wouldn't ban them just yet, but it's a little sus. Also,
Emergency guitar.
we haven't been DDoSed yet again,
jam
so
sesh,
that's
break
good.
glass.
I was surprised. I'm
Chores are an
surprised.
excellent way to learn personal responsibility, Alex.
Springfest decorations? Hell yeah. I know they're not actually in chat. That's the thing. Like, they just spam follow using a bot.
Huh. Colorado digs its alt-right.
Haas has small PP. Oof. Oof. No, Gage, I actually don't. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. One time during a streaming career is enough, you know? I don't think I need it anymore.
Ryan might need some help finding that toy.
Well, hold on. I want... Alright, I can't go over there. Never mind. Wait, what's the flyer? Nah. Plant? Plant. I want to look at plant.
Apparently, plants can feel pain. But can they cry
Stupid bot could at least say hi. I know! Right?
I don't think so.
How rude. They have no manners.
Like
oh,
Ryan
can you...
might need some help
there.
Any luck finding that cat toy?
Cat toy.
Not yet.
Cat dog. Cat dog.
So, what's the prediction? What do you think Gabe listens to these days?
Banjo, dubstep, acapella, screamo. Acapella screamo sounds like actual torture, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm guessing he's gotten pretty deep into the acoustic EDM scene.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
Isn't all great music?
Deep.
Oh my god.
There's only one way to find out.
Acapella screamo is Van Canto? What is that? Also, hey, Dangly Boy, why are you... Hey! Dangly Boy, why are you back? I put you over here for a reason. Because I can't see you just dangling around in, like, the corner of my eye. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. You're gonna yoink the names from chatbot and be right back. Alright, no problem.
Wait for it. Cover bands.
Cover bands.
I disown him.
Acapella screamo. Van Canto, sometimes stylized as Van Canto. What? Oh. It's a German acapella metal band. Founded in 2006 and composed of 6 singers and a drummer. Although the group is often classified as a cappella ensemble, they use real drums in their music instead of vocal percussion or beatboxing. Ah, that's cheating! That's cheating!
You could check the register. Okay, but what if it's 3 unbroken hours of improvisational jazz flute?
Let's go.
That he listens to while writing scathing film reviews.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sipping a $50 Americano.
2 of them you banned don't exist. Yeah, so the host, the one that I keep getting followed by every single day is like the host 00312 or whatever, and their account has been gone for days. But I keep getting followed by them every single day, so I don't understand either, honestly.
Maybe that drawer?
You don't think it worked?
Celine Dion's greatest
try 2 exclamation marks.
Maybe essential Celine Dion?
She is a Canadian
Try
treasure.
2 exclamation marks.
Nothing.
Maybe in the junk box.
And we have a winner.
I don't know, because Gamer added commands to my bot somehow. Hold on. Yeah, Gamer added the commands somehow. I don't know how he did it. Like, he added the Bort Chunt one, and he added the mine. The !Santy one. Chatbot, check commands. If you do exclamation mark commands, you can see all the commands. You can do exclamation mark command and then maybe add afterwards. I'm not sure. But I do want to add a new command while we're here, you know? While we're here, might as well just add one. How do you do that though? Command variables. Oh, this is too much. Hold on. I actually don't know how to do like the random number generator. And there's a lot of these variables. I'm just gonna do it after stream. We're just gonna do that after stream. Gamer hacks. He does have gamer hacks, dude.
Cat-related death. Tell Gabe I'm sorry.
Nah, he's not editor. There's only one person that's editor, and they're not here right now. Okay, let's go in here. Hey, there's a clarinet! Look at that!
How do I get a rich Polish clarinetist to buy me things?
Made in Poland in the 1930s, clarinet belonged to Igor Slabisky. Oh my gosh. Ooh, he's a survivor of the World War II. Oh my. A drinking bird.
Perpetual motion.
Cute.
Looks exhausting.
Santy Law. What about Law? What about Law? You do it for Nightbot? Well, shit, I don't know. You can ask other people to play with you, Josh. I probably won't be able to play tonight, honestly.
All the time as kids. Never got there.
Alright, sheet music, sheet music.
It's been so long since I've played.
Aww. I know, I haven't played the piano in so long either. Touch and die. Oof.
Is it wrong that the note makes me want to touch it more?
No, same dude, actually. Oh. Touch.
Are you trying to die?
I wanted to see what would happen.
You're just lucky Steph's behind a soundproof wall.
Fair
Or
point.
not. I've officially cheated death. This place has just the right amount of dorkiness.
Also, can I do that? Nope. Wait, no, Ryan?
He seems cool. For a tree cop.
A tree cop. So, I'm looking for a cat toy? Is that what's happening?
I love that this town has their own radio station.
Wait. You copied that straight from the website? I have no idea. Try estimation mark command add. Try that instead. School fix your sleep schedule. You go to bed at like 8 now? Oh god. Well, I hope school goes well for you whenever you actually go to it.
Chores are an
Oh, I already did
excellent way
that.
to learn personal responsibility, Alex.
Cat. Lure. Ah, this is what we're doing. Luring the cats. Oh, we already found the cat toy. I'm dumb.
Who's the superior mammal now?
Yeah, that's adorable.
Alright.
Been going.
Good idea.
It's good. Wait, you've been going? Oh, I didn't realize you already started for some reason.
Pretty good at this customer service thing.
Well, hope it continues to go well. Sorry. Okay, so Gabe got Kings of Leon. Alright. Kings of Leon.
Should have known.
Maybe just do commands by itself.
Seriously?
Gabe and I used to listen to records together all the time. We'd forget about the world and rock out for hours.
You gotta tell me what Gabe was like as a kid. Any ammunition you can give me?
Actually, he was a pretty badass older brother. He smoked cigarettes, which at the time I thought was awesome. And he somehow managed to get his first tattoo when he was 12.
What? 12?
Damn. The legend only grows. All right, you're looking at 20 even.
You're taking a business class, which you're super hyped about? Dude, that's awesome.
I can't believe you're doing this again.
Come on.
Do you have any idea how much time I've put into this?
Uh-oh.
You just... No, dude, I can't come over there. I'm working.
So should she feel the emotions too?
It's called a job. Maybe you'd understand if you ever
I
had.
can watch the booth if you gotta get out of here.
Hey, hold on a sec. Are you serious?
Oh, you have a playlist, right? I think I can handle that.
Whoa.
Saver. Oh, no bird calls though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. She's an empath along with being able to read minds.
Organizing a LARP shouldn't be this hard.
Organizing a LARP? Oh gosh. Ah, there you go. There you go, Leslie. Oh gosh. Okay.
Sorry. I was just a little
Reading minds is
thrown
just
for a moment.
a really focused empath,
Thanks.
kind of. Wait, no, she like legit like can read the thoughts and stuff though. I don't know, man. Ah, there's
Somehow I
Gabe.
knew I'd find you in here.
Things went well with Charlotte?
Thanks to your
Wait,
help.
why is he hiding it?
I can't wait for you guys to meet. I think you'd be great friends. Speaking of, my two favorite people in my favorite place.
Okay, the
What have you guys
light
been up
bouncing off her glasses though. Please.
Just looking around. This place is pretty sweet.
Every time I'm in here, it reminds me of you. I'm not surprised you like it.
Aw. That's actually super
Anyway,
cute.
I'm
What
glad
the
you two
heck?
met. Not only is this dude my best friend, he's the best guide to Haven you could ever find.
And this dude hands me the best beers?
Oof.
By the way,
Oof.
Mac was in here earlier, and he really wants to talk to you.
So wait,
sort of-
tab? Free drinks tonight at the Black
I
Lantern.
can see why Gabe fits in so well here.
Alright. Typhoon? Typhon? Jesus, I can't speak. Oh. Alright, cool. SMS. Ah, there we go. Oh god, there's so many. New chapter of your life, colors unblocked. Oh! Whoo! Whoa! Wait, what? Oh, it's supposed to be her therapist. Oh, assigned counselor? As a precondition of your residence at Helping Hands. Oh. Gotcha, gotcha. So did she just like escape? Oof. Oof. Okay, we got Gabe. World's okayest boyfriend. Oh, that's so cute. Alright. We got a Chelsea in here. Who's this? Must be a friend. Alright, yeah, it looks like it's just a friend. And we got Steph, which is the girl that's here. Nice. Alright. Alright, wait, my block? My block. Like MySpace, but my block. Lol. Oh, there's so many! Oh, there's more! Oh my gosh, I'm just going to, you know, click on them all and get rid of them because holy hell. That's so many! Oh my gosh, they just keep going. Okay, they're done. They're done! Ah, you did the timber score! Wait, you did the timber score! Yes! Yeah, you're the best. Heck yeah. Alright, continue. Let's go. 77? Damn, Josh.
Tag along?
I'll catch up. I got a radio show to host.
You got more than Larry Laffer. You gotta know mine? Okay, okay. So just exclamation mark timber. Team Beard! Team Beard! 13! Why? Oh god. Oh, I need to go in and edit the cooldowns, I think. Hold on. Let me see if I can edit the cooldowns. Team Bear. Team Bear. Cooldown 0. 0. Save. Thank you, Leslie, for doing that. I might edit the wording on a few of them. But thank you.
No, yeah.
Try it again, Gage. Basically,
What up,
on
Monster Slayer Thanor?
God, 32, nice.
Hell yeah.
Attaboy.
What was I gonna say?
We gotta talk road trips
Oh,
next.
Leisure Suit Larry. It is one of the games we've been playing a little bit of, and
We'll see.
they have an app called Timber, which is like Tinder in real life, and you have to get a certain score on Timber in order to meet this lady that he wants to meet.
But I kind of want to hang out at home. Is that okay?
Do you, man? But I'm gonna check that homework later tonight, though. Better be done, capiche?
Capiche. Good to meet you.
Yeah, same. See you around.
Hey.
So weird seeing you do the dad thing.
Dad thing? No. No, I'm better than a dad. I'm like Dad Plus.
Dad Plus? Oh my gosh.
We trust each other. He tells me stuff he doesn't even tell Shar.
Ethan didn't tell
Nice,
Gabe about
Josh.
going to explore the old mine. He trusted me to keep his secret. Should I?
Yeah, you
Should I go on his
should.
cover?
Hey, now I got 83. Let's go. Yeah, keep his secret, dude. Let him go. Let him go explore.
You good?
Yeah, fine.
Oh god,
Just
Josh.
thinking about you as the
Josh,
Hobbs
no.
to Ethan's Calvin.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's like.
Except you're, you know, dating his mom.
Clearly, you haven't read my Calvin and Hobbes fan fiction.
Oh god. Oh.
What do you say we get you settled in?
I don't know. I feel that.
So, this is what a mining town looks like. Thought there'd be more guys in overalls running around.
With soot all over their faces?
Exactly. What do they mine here, though?
Used to be silver back in the day.
And now?
Uranium. They blow these big holes in the mountains and sell it off to nuclear power plants.
Whoa.
Yeah. We'll actually be able to hear a blast later tonight. It's pretty intense.
Sounds like it.
Look who it is. Jed. Hey, got someone I want you to meet. Alex, this is my buddy Jed.
Buddy hell, will you listen to this horse shit? His boss, he means.
You own the Black Lantern.
For the last 12 years or so. It's good to meet you, Alex. Heard a hell of a lot about you.
Oh?
Only bad stuff. Mostly lies.
Your brother's full of shit. You know that? He just about wet himself waiting for you to get here.
Rough couple seconds for you on the timber. Oh no, Josh.
Oh, did he manage to hold it in this time? Good for you, Gabe.
I like her.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
she's okay, I guess.
57.
We're heading in. You coming?
In a minute.
Wait.
Supposed to meet Eleanor to talk spring festival decorations. He tell you about the
Almost
festival
got there, Leslie.
Not in detail.
I'll fill you in later. Like, you do not want to get this guy started.
You almost got there, Leslie. You almost
I'm
did.
loquacious, goddammit. It's charming. Oh,
Self-love.
before you
Aw.
leave, word of warning. Max got that old bug up his ass again.
So I've heard.
Yeah. So, just, you know, eyes open. Anyway, you guys go settle. Alex, pleasure.
I'll mind Jed.
So, spring festival equals mountain prom.
It's a lot cooler than it sounds.
Not possible. I'm picturing some straight up Wicker Man shit.
Oh, you've been before.
It's so close, Leslie. You almost got it. Also, I'm like hella tempted to get a brownie. I want a brownie. Black Lantern Bar. Let's go. Party time. Is that beta? I like to see them with plants. They deserve real plants. They deserve a bigger tank.
Man.
They deserve real plants. And they got foosball? Bruh.
This is all yours?
Don't sound so surprised.
What foosball table? What the heck? And they got a billiard light over the heckin' coffee table. What? It is very
When you
nice.
said that you had a nice place, I was picturing small but homey.
Well then, welcome to my crib.
So nice.
Seriously.
The heck?
This is great.
And the best part is, it's actually yours. I'm mostly staying at Charlotte's now.
What?
What exactly do you mean, this is mine?
It's
You
this
did
thing
get
where people have
closer.
places
You
they
did.
live. We call them homes. I mean it. I want you to have a fresh start here.
Gabe, thank you.
You got it. Just promise me you don't throw too many keggers or any surprise fires.
Oh man.
Jed will kill me if that happens again.
Sure thing.
Do you need the variables list, Leslie? I can send you the variable list if you need it. Ban stream elements, no! Anyone else already shipping Alex and the radio girl? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where this is heading anyways.
Not like how I imagined you'd be.
Muffin! Hello!
Do I look how you expected?
Ah yes, thank you for thanking Shifter for the sub. I like how people thank them. Oh. Yes.
You haven't really changed.
Don't ship you. We ship you with poutine.
Still like 15.
Shut up.
I mean, obviously you're like
How you
a
been,
man,
Muffin?
dude. But you still have the same facial expressions and stuff. You're still you.
Ship you off to China. No, we need him here. He
Which is
can't
good,
go to
'cause
China.
If you weren't still you,
Heck.
I'd have to give your gift to someone else.
Wait, what?
Surprise.
Wait, is this is the album I requested?
I know.
Hey, oh, that's why he was hiding it.
Well, I got it for you first, so I get the credit.
To be fair, where is here? We are in the U.S. Alex, no, that's fair. I feel like he's on the same continent and within like a good amount of drive. You know, like it's an easy drive to get up there. You're not easy, but like you can definitely drive up there. Also, this is hella weird without music. Oh my god. This is so awkward without music. You just hear their feet shoveling.
God, I can't get over this. Feels just like old times.
That's so funny.
Oh no. Stop.
Uh-oh.
I can't. It's too late.
Like you're just air jumping to nothing. Oh no.
Oh yeah,
Oh
go get him,
no. 14 bucks for a Pokeball or Pokeball? Yes. 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 Do it. That's nice. Do it. Also, I'm just gonna preemptively add stream marker real quick. That way I can I can clip that because that was great.
Your turn.
It's true love if they can dance without any music. They're brother and sister! Ew!
Fine.
Reminds you of the musicless music videos? Oh my god! Right? Those are so much fun, like when they put in their own little like this is so funny, what the fuck? Where they put in their own like sound effects. This is so great! Who knew this would be so funny without music? Please, they need to put in some kind of like background music. Hey, you did it, Lessie! You did it! Finished the episode today and it's so weird without music, it really is! Yeah. Platonic love. It's like familial love, yeah?
Hey,
yeah.
Can I help you?
Something's wrong.
Oh?
I read Riley's phone. I know you've been meeting with her behind my back.
Wait, what?
Think, Mac.
Oh, good. Because I thought you were fucking my girlfriend.
Dude, I promise, you've got it all wrong.
Tell me why I shouldn't kick your ass right now.
No. No, not here. No, not here.
It's not my place, Mac. You really need to talk to your girlfriend.
I'm talking to you.
Oh! Go get him! Go get him!
Stay.
Stay.
The fuck?
The fuck?
Away from her!
Let's go! Let's go! Hell yeah! Nice! Nice! Alright, you can stop now. You can stop now. But Jesus! Oh! Why did you hit him?
Gabe, I didn't.
Hey, it's okay.
Bruh. Okay, you went a little too hard. It's a little too hard. But you know, he did come in trying to beat the shit out of your brother. But also maybe a little too hard.
This is just fucking psycho.
You're a fucking psycho. You're the one who came in trying to rip him apart.
Fuck yourselves.
You're the fucking psycho.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know if that's her blood or his or both, but like, damn.
Fuck.
I don't know, I'm on her side here.
Wait, Gabe.
Alex. It's fine. I gotta go stop my shift.
Jesus.
Great.
Well, heck. 74%, huh?
I'm okay.
Are you? Are you okay? You don't seem okay. You be crying a bit. I don't think you're okay.
I'm okay.
Oh no, Josh, 43%. Fuck.
I'm okay.
Man, dude. How could you? How could you? 43? Damn. Gage got A7 though. Look at that. Look at that.
I guess I might as well.
73 with Alex? Alright, we're getting shit.
Choose to believe this isn't about me.
Who's oh, Micah's the one that just was in there to beat the shit out of, right? Yeah. Ha! He just fucking owned himself. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Alright. Steph, that's what Ryan did. Me, you two sounds good. Alright, let's go. Okay, what are we doing? What's out here? A sword. Yo, that's dangerous.
Is that a sword?
We already did that. Video game?
Must be Ethan's.
Dino Racer 2, the Corythosaurus Cup. Let's go. Mac was the guy that beat the shit out, not Mike? Oh, okay, gotcha. Who's Mike then? I don't know who Mike is. Best friend can be as good for certain reasons?
Gabe
Like what?
Brushing up on comics and art. Really going the extra mile for Ethan and Charlotte. Holy shit. It looks like Gabe actually read this.
War is most important, let's discuss it over wine. Oh my god, he actually did read it. There's like a whole bunch of sticky notes.
Broadcasting straight from your local record store.
Because how fucking cool is that? At least I held it together in front of Ryan and Steph. Wow.
That's true.
Looks like Ryan turned my brother into a model citizen.
Aw, cute. Alright. Photo? What's a photo?
I'm really happy for you,
Duh. Look at how cute they are together. Adorable. Adorable.
Alex.
Are you gonna see emotions attached to an object? Excuse me?
Guess I kinda gave Gabe the runaround, huh?
Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Oh well. Age differences? Oh, yes. Yup. That's true.
So Gabe and Riley have been working on her interview, and Mac thought they were sleeping together.
Oh. Yikes.
Right, I'm telling you, his story doesn't add up. He wants you.
He's helping me get into college, baby. You know dudes can do nice things without the expectation
Dude,
of
they
getting laid,
both have
right?
people, though.
A high school dropout, a guy who went to fucking juvie, wants to be your study buddy? What, out
Wow.
of the goodness of his heart?
Oh my god, Mac, we're friends. There is nothing going on between Gabe and me.
What? What a jerk. Oh, I can customize outfit? Yo! Yo! I kind of digging the bear, not gonna lie. No! Heck. Alright. Look, there we go.
Way.
Aw.
Gabe has this photo too? Look at
So
our
cute!
parents. Mom's healthy. Dad's only kind of an asshole.
Be awkward sometimes, especially with the wording used. Yeah, I like that you added both because also not everybody's able to say that word. Like I wasn't for the longest time. So, there's that. Unpack the shoo-shoo.
Oh god. Shoo-Shoo's gonna look so grungy on this nice bed.
No, that's so fucking cute. What the heck?
Some hard times, but I was hoping we were done with that.
Aww. Unpack comic. Welcome back, Cobrin.
Ethan's really talented.
The tunnel to the monster stronghold of Demoheim collapsed? Oh fuck. I have to find another way in. The uniform of the city guard, long dead from the looks of it. Blood. Oh, he looks an orc. The trail seems to end here, unless... Hollow. Aha, you must have crawled through here! The corpse of a cloud serpent. It must have crashed through a ceiling. I keep wanting to read it the Japanese way. Perhaps if I can reach higher ground, I can find a secret entrance. Your flying days are over, Cloud Serpent, but you may still be of use to me. That glow beyond the peak. It must be the stronghold's back gate. Let's go. That's pretty good, actually, for a child. Hell yeah. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Through the mountain. Secret, 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 secret tunnel. Okay, so I want to know what's upstairs, honestly.
Gabe always wanted a bike like this.
Ooh, there's a crack in the wall. It's also a postcard.
Looks like we
Greetings from Mexico.
Help us. I'm glad it made a difference for Gabe. I know
And a
I keep
crack.
the drywall crack when I see one.
Ah, yes. Tried to hide it, but he did not. Ooh, can I actually play this, though? Can I actually play it? Oh, yeah! Climb up / down. Avoid the ghost and the minecars. Power up with those things and collect all the coins. Extra points for faster level completion. You have a swipe test on Timber? Test has been swiped? What? I'm so confused. Alright, let's go. Start. Wait! Where am I? Oh, yeah, look at me go! Can I jump? I can probably jump. Jump? There we go. Boom. Let's go! I had practice at all the arcades earlier. Ah! They can climb ladders! They can climb ladders! Ah! No, they're so fast! They're so fast! Oh god! Oh! Oh! Ghost! What's up, dude? How are you today? How are you doing, Ghost? Thank you for the host. You played this? It had so much fun. You love that they have a sub-game? I know! It's so nice! This is actually a lot of fun, not gonna lie. You're okay? I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. I'm alright as well. Just hanging out with you guys. Playing the new Life is Strange game. You know? Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Don't come back at me! Alright, alright. My light, it's going away. Alright, let's go. We got it, we got it. Alright, we gotta watch out for these mine cars. So... let's try— oh my god! It's like Donkey Kong! It just comes out of nowhere! What is that? Holy heck! No! I didn't jump! Alright, alright, alright. That's right. Go away from me, ghosties. Get away from me, ghosties! Let's go. Got all the coins! What are you doing? What are you doing swiping over there? You swiped Boop on Timber. Boop has been swiped. Ah! Look at that! Look at that! Not even 2 seconds in! Bruh, how dare you? How dare you insult my skill? Oh, fuck! I may have waited just a tiny bit too long while reading chat. Meow. Oh god. Look at that score though! 60,140? Alright. That was nice. That was a nice score. I want to go upstairs. It won't let me go upstairs. You're so rude. Alright, what kind of game we got?
Oh man. Gabe used to crush me.
Opposites. Poster?
Looks like he fits right in.
Oh, that's adorable. I kind of leaned in and tried to see it better. Like, that's gonna help literally anything. What am I meant to do? Unpacked bag. Oh, there's more to unpack. Oh, my bad. My bad. I got really carried away. Oh, Alex swiped Avo on Timber. Oh. Oh. Leslie swiping right on Alex. Oh my. I don't know if that means good or bad because I've never used the app.
I hope at least she cared. More than I can say for most. I really wish those mitts had worked. Chelsea. The rare bright spot from my time in the group home.
So cute. I like those little drawings. Alright, what else is in the bag? A photo? Josh swiped himself. Let's go. Let's go.
Crazy how much we've changed.
So she ripped off the other half. Interesting. And Gabe kept all of it. Alex swiped me on Timber. Let's go. Let's go. Gotta get that score up somehow. Oh, it's right. That's true. Look, your score is 70 now. It worked. It worked.
My journal. Time to add my latest meltdown.
Yo, I've thought about trying to start one, but I don't trust myself to actually write anything in one ever. Max/anger. Wait. Oh, I don't want to read all this. This is a lot. Oh, music though. Bruh. It went down! No, Josh! Don't let it go down! Does that mean we matched on Timber? Did you guys just match on Timber?
I'll finish this later.
You want a new profile picture? Alex! Alex, let me take your picture. I'll do that just for you. I'll get you a good one. It reminds you of like Pip and Flink series? Empath towards objects. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know anything about that series. You don't know how Timber actually works? I don't either, dude. I don't either. Here's a little something to say. Welcome home. Can't wait to hear you shred. Wait! Got her a guitar? No, that was not in the bag, right? Like, there's no way. At least on Tinder, you know, the knockoff Timber. Yeah, Tinder is a knockoff Timber. For sure. Damn straight it is. You wonder if she plays the song? If it is not DMCA free, probably not. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, Alex, you just went nuts and beat the shit out of somebody in front of your brother.
Sure did.
So, how are you feeling right now?
Oh my god! It is muted! It is muted! God damn it! Anyways, here's Wonderwall. Man! Man! Just tell me. I want to know. I'm gonna buy the soundtrack to this. I buy the soundtrack to every Life is Strange game. They're so good. She sings Creep by Radiohead? Nice. That's a great song. And I honestly didn't really know that song very well until Rock Band. So that's how I know that the most. I don't know what that means. Mining uranium, is she a mutant? I don't know what that means. The boyo that broke in should have had a better lesson taught to him, dude. Oh gosh, Prin would never have done something as bad as Tinder, right? Right? Alright, can I like skip this or... I want to hear it so bad. But like, I wouldn't get DMCA'd if it's her singing it, right? I don't know. Hold on. Would I get DMCA'd if it's her singing it?
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't think I would if it's her singing it.
What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Aw, that's so fucking sad. What the hell? What the hell, dude?
You and your damn surprises, Gabe.
Today's gonna be the day we're gonna sing it. What? Sing the muted tunes! Bring it back to you! Find how Square Enix should have found that they should have paid their license
Being
fee!
here is too good to be true. I'm not gonna let anything mess it up.
Fuck, dude. Nah, they're fine. They have the music. I just turned on streamer mode because last time we played a game like this, I got muted audio, and I didn't want to deal with that again. So, I don't know, man. Hi, Weeby. Hi, Weeby. How you doing? If I want to, yeah, I do want to actually turn it back off. Oh, shit, wrong thing. Live stream. On. Apply. Continue. What am I doing now? Head downstairs to the bar. Okay. Let's go! We're gonna get smashed. Helping a friend with Summoner's War. Nice. How are you doing that game now? I know that you said you were like stuck at one point.
Brian, just
They may forget about. Yeah, I may or may not forget about it. Currently, we went from 2 million mana to 90k trying to upgrade. Jesus, that's a lot.
Right about here. So, it hurts when you breathe?
Alex, you made it.
Hell yeah,
Charlotte,
she's
right?
pretty.
I'm sorry you had to see that fight. What a terrible first impression.
Dad, I'm taking Gabe to the station.
Life is Strange was your first game you ever streamed,
Discovery of bacteria.
and big chunks of it were muted.
I don't
Yes.
need to go. Ryan knows what he's doing. Now
Yep.
you just go with him.
That's the only bad part. That their music is like so good, so good.
Alex, I'll be back soon, okay?
Took a mental break and came back. You beat the thing you're trying to beat like 4 or so months or something.
bartender and my
Oh,
backup
that's awesome! I'm glad you're able to beat it. Congrats, dude. But yeah, if you play this game, I definitely suggest turning on the stream mode and just like
Falling Star? Yeah.
buying the soundtrack or like listening to the soundtrack off stream, cause the music do be bomb in every single Life is Strange game. Every single Life is Strange game. Also, I don't know what this question was, but there's that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. But it's amazing to be here. I heard Ethan gave you an issue of his comic.
He did! You're so
obviously
good.
thinks you're really cool.
Cooler than
But
Gabe?
does he think I'm cooler than Gabe? I'd say you have a shot. Gabe plays dirty though. Like he secretly teaches Ethan to swear.
Ha!
Beef
Oh,
pie
man.
special. Watch the gravy.
Beef pie. Nah, chicken pie better.
Now, Ryan said you're skipping dinner. No starving artists on my watch.
Aww. That's so nice. The first time you had no
I'm making some
muted
pizzas for the
parts.
spring
The second
festival, and they
time,
have to be done tonight.
there was like,
Sorry, I couldn't
there
talk
was, and you're like, what the fuck?
okay.
Oh,
So glad you're here.
Oscars by Sid
Looking forward to getting to know you.
Matters?
Yeah.
Sid Matters? I don't know. Dude, like,
Bye. Thanks for supper.
Yep.
I feel like what they mute and what YouTube flags is just so random sometimes. Cause I've had like the exact same audio play and then get muted here and flagged on YouTube, and then like play it again another time, and like neither of them pick it up as like flagged or anything. It's so weird. DMC is strange. Don't drink and drive. Oh, go over to her. Go over to her. Yes. Come on. Come on.
So I'm short-staffed at the moment. Gabe tells me you've worked at a restaurant before.
Yeah, French stream Life is
experience
Strange,
as a
like
server?
the first one, and his friend you really liked it, and he suggests you stream more, but he always says that no, and that it's too much of an emotional journey. Yeah, so that's the thing with these games. They will make you cry. I cried so hard with these games. But,
Maybe not as long as that.
yeah, I don't know. These games, they do take a toll on you. It's like after you're done with them,
See if you might like it.
it's just like this weird feeling, like bittersweet end.
All right.
Because like you finished a really good game that you're attached to, and also it kind of just broke your brain into a million pieces.
Steph over here.
We know Steph. Let's go
There's
say
a
hi,
table in the
Steph.
back that needs clearing also. You can give the food orders to me, and I'll handle anyone here at the bar. All right?
Alright.
It's really nice to have you here, Alex.
Watch me fuck up literally everything. Alright, where's Steph? Where's Steph?
Let's see how this goes.
Oh, she's over here. Come here, Steph. I would like to take your order. What's green?
That looks radioactive.
It does look a little radioactive. Still blows your mind that the person who played Chloe is the voice of Viper. Wait! That's the same person? Are you serious? That's crazy.
Alex, right?
I had no idea.
Hey. Just seeing if you need food or anything.
Oh no, I'm good. Thanks though. Sorry I
Aw.
couldn't hang out at the record store. I've got some time now though if you want to chat.
Oh, cute! Wait, that seems like another person's spot.
So are you here with somebody? Or
That's Ryan's stuff. Apparently he ditched me for Gabe.
No.
they went to get first aid?
Being a hero again. Ryan's always doing that.
Cute.
It's a Lucan family thing. Have you heard about Jed's rescue?
Wait, who's Jed?
It was a big deal. Back when he was a minor, he
I
saved.
can't imagine. Alex wants an earload of Haven trivia just now.
Sorry, Jed. He doesn't like to brag, but there's stuff about it all over the place if you look.
Hey.
Is that record store inventory?
No, it's character stats.
Yes!
Do you know what a LARP is?
Oh my gosh. She's a hacking nerd, and I love it. Melissa! Hold on. Hold on. Melissa? Melissa?
And no, you don't have to pay.
Holy heck! How are you doing, Melissa? It's like the voice actress for Viper that only did anime stuff. Part of Cyberpunk? I don't know what you mean. But anyways, oh my gosh, I need to say hi to everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Can we get? Oh, you already got a shout out. Heckin' nice. Heckin' nice. You were playing. What were you playing today? It says just chatting, but what were you doing before that? But welcome in, Melissa and Star and Bio and I don't know how to say your name. Yes. I can't speak. I'm so sorry. But hi, welcome in. Chef, welcome in. Who else is here? Michael, Uncle Bill. Welcome in, everybody. Nice to meet you too. You're a big fan of Life is Strange series too? Oh my gosh. That's so cool. I love Life is Strange. I played all of them so far. And we're just starting this one. I'm so excited. V is the protagonist of Skyrim. Oh, I gotcha. I haven't played that yet. You were giving a lecture on some Middle Kingdom tombs and temples. Wait, really? Really? That sounds so cool. Do you have any fun facts you want to give chat? I'd be hella down if you want to give us some fun facts. You just beat the giant boss level 12? Nice! That's awesome. That's so cool.
We have a brand new
Bio Artwork, hello! Thank you for the follow!
Thank you so much for the follow.
You heard Uncle Bill and was confused because you have an uncle named Bill. That's so funny! Michael, thank you so much for the follow. So, Josh, if you have an Uncle Bill, do you ever get really confused when people talked about like the pet store Uncle Bills? Because I would get really confused. You looked at a lot of depictions of wrestling and some of them were pretty funny. Oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh. So, they did wrestling back then too? That's so cool actually. Oh man. Uncle Bill is everyone's uncle. Are you gonna adopt all of us as your nephews and nieces? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm down for that. You can be my Uncle Bill. You also looked at a lot of depictions of dogs because that's what you did your thesis on. Oh, that tomb had a lot of doggos? Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to see too. I'll also go back and like check your VOD because I'm curious now. You and your Uncle Bill share a birthday though. That's cool. What the heck? That is so cool. You never knew there was a pet store with that name? Yeah! So here, I don't know where you live, but like in the Midwest of the United States, I don't know if they're still around. I haven't seen one in a while. The one that I remember seeing, I haven't been that way in a long time. But yeah, there's like here in the Midwest area-ish, we had a lot of pet stores that were called Uncle Bill's. And I remember at the state fair, I would do like the little ping pong ball thing. We had to toss it into a fishbowl and then to get a goldfish. And there was one year where they didn't give you the goldfish at the fair. You had they gave you tickets to go to Uncle Bill's to get free goldfish, and I never did. I still have those tickets somewhere. They're like put away in a box somewhere, but I still have them. Yeah, Uncle Bill's is a pet store. The more you know. That's the most American thing you've ever heard of in your life. You know what, Alex? Yes, it is. Thank you. There was one year, cause I used to do that every year growing up, like just get free goldfish. They're not free. You paid for like the ping pong balls to like throw them into like the fish tank or whatever. Or, like little fish bowls. But there was one year where they mistakenly had a tadpole, and I asked them for the tadpole instead. So I just went home with a random ass tadpole. Oh man. But Melissa, thank you again for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. It sounded like loads of fun for sure. I definitely have to go back and like look at all the pictures and stuff that you showed because that sounds really cool. Frog Champ, oh god. Frog Champ. The voice of Viper and Chloe is in minigames? Really? I'll have to look her up sometime. I haven't really looked into like voice actor histories a whole lot. Think about it, everybody's uncle would kind of have to be everybody's brother too, but uncle because you're the old boomer generation? Oh man. Yo, if you're a boomer, that means I'm no longer one of the oldest people here? That's crazy! Heck. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Like, if you're everybody's uncle, You'd be somebody's brother, right? I don't know. Growing up, though, I called a lot of people my aunts or uncles when they weren't, like, biologically related to me, just because, like, I was at random people's houses a lot. And the random people that would take care of me, I always end up calling them, like, aunt or uncle or something. I have a lot of unofficial grandparents, too. Well, had, I guess. That was a story for another time, though. To name just a few, Borderlands, Last of Us. Wait, who was she in Last of Us? Who was she in Last of Us? And was she Mari in Fortnite? I'm kind of interested now. Also, someone named Mel. Last of Us Part 2. I want to say I know who that is, and she's not a main character. She's like, if I remember correctly, she has like long hair and a little stockier, if I remember correctly. Here, I'm gonna look this up. Mel, Life is Strange 2. Images. Wait. I don't see. Oh, I put Life is Strange. That's why. The Last of Us. Last of Us 2. I have Life is Strange on the brain. Oh, that's not at all who I was thinking of. But her face is like the same that I was thinking of. But she definitely does not have short hair. Interesting. She's also preggers, it looks like. Oh, it's that lady! Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I know who it is now. Cool. Yeah, I know I just said Life is Strange. I have Life is Strange on the brain, alright? Alright. Do I often cry in the first episode of Life is Strange? You cried a lot in the first episode of Life is Strange 2. I don't know. It really just depends. It depends on what happens and how close I get to the characters, I guess. I cried in the first stream of Last of Us 2 because that was something. Like, I was fucking bawling, dude. She plays Ray in Fortnite. I don't know who that is either. I'm gonna look that up now. Oh my gosh, who the Googles? Ray Fortnite. Fortnite. Oh, what? A female robot. That would make a lot of sense. Like, she has the voice of a robot. She has a bot voice. Never really got emotional during Life is Strange 1. I did, actually. I cried a lot during Life is Strange 1. 2, not so much. But 1, I did. Last of Us 2, I cried. Last of Us 1, I didn't finish myself. I actually played, like, I would say a fourth to a third of it myself, and then I watched a playthrough of the rest, and then I cried during the playthrough. Oh, man. The Last of Us really is a tearjerker! Thank you! It's so emotional. So emotional. I don't know. I'm a sucker for, like, emotional bits, I guess. You always have a small tear at the end of Grim Fandango, even though you finish a few times? I don't know what that is. I had to look that up, I think. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna continue the game now. So, we're playing Last of Us, We're playing Life is Strange True Colors, which is the new one that just came out on Thursday. So, I hope y'all enjoy. We haven't gotten too far in it yet, but yeah.
Fantasy fighting in real life? Yep. Gabe was talking about a LARP with Ethan.
Last of Strange 3 Electric Boogaloo.
It's their first time. I'm so excited.
Dang it, Alex.
Would you ever want to join us sometime?
For real, though. Yeah, let's go.
Sure, I'd try it. If you and Gabe both like it, it must be super fun.
Awesome. Yeah, LARPing is fun. We did a Pokemon LARP in college. That was a lot of fun. We actually like, so you remember like the DS? We would take our DS games and we would set up people around campus to be the gym leaders. And then we'd have like Team Rocket floating around like different events throughout the day. And
What's a jukebox
you would
game?
take your DS and you would go around and get your gym badges, and then the next day we would have the Elite Four. It was so much fun.
Ryan and I
It was
are
an
gonna
all-day
play.
thing.
You want to take his place?
You're on. Let's go. We're drinking night. We're drinking tonight.
So,
Fuck.
I'll pick a song. You have 5 yes or no questions.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Apparently we're not drinking tonight. Also, my throat is so dry. When you finish a Life is Strange game, you feel empty. Yeah, I feel that with a lot of games. Honestly, it's like a very bittersweet feeling.
Jukebox is all yours.
Yeah, you're gonna do it again. Aw, thank you. Aw, thanks. Thank you for doing that again, Leslie. 3 sheets to the wind.
Through these and see what might be good to ask.
What am I trying to figure out? I wasn't paying attention. The indie soundtrack to Life is Strange is phenomenal, right? Right? Think of the children, Alabaster Daydream, song missing. Vic Nasty, blame the monkey brain. Pyric, check/raise. Alex, employee of the year, not serving tables. Exactly. Endurance for electronics. Mind the damn porridge. Oh man. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Wait. The Fuckadelics. Nice. Nice name. 10 out of 10. Mildred Cross and the Watermelon Floss Brigade. What? What? It's a guess song quiz. You got 5 hints to guess the song right. Ah. Who knows? The who knows? Okay, so cover art questions. Are there animals?
Is there an animal on the cover art?
No animals.
Ugh, too bad.
Are ants considered animals?
I know, right?
Are there band name on the cover?
Is the band name on the cover?
Yep.
Okay. Band name. Does it have one word?
Is the band name only one word?
It is more than one word.
More than one word. Okay.
You've got 2 questions left.
So it has animals. And the band name is on there and it's one word. Ampersand. Band name questions. Does it have a symbol?
Does the band name have a symbol in it? Like something that's not just a letter?
Oh. Yeah, it totally does.
Nice.
Last question.
I think it might be this one.
All right, I know.
It might be that one, guys. That doesn't have any animals. Is that considered like... Is that a symbol? That's not a symbol, right? No. Big nasty, that's not an wait, is that technically an animal? That looks like a chimp. That's a monkey, so that could also be it. Alright, so it could be that one. Or it could be... this one, but I don't know if you would consider those... animals.
Does the song have a long title, like 4 words or more?
Yes.
Alright. We got it, we got it. It's the monkey brain.
Ready to guess?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me look through one last time. Here's what I know.
It's this one.
The band name does have a symbol.
Symbol?
It's not a one-word band name.
It's two words.
Is at least 4 words.
Has
long.
4
animals on the cover.
Oh wait, there's no animals. Oh, I was looking for the wrong thing. Shit!
That's enough to figure it out.
We'll see.
Oh, there's an. Oh god, I thought that she said there was animals. God, fuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Wait, recap.
The band name does have a symbol in it.
Okay.
It's not a one-word band name. The song title is at least 4 words long. No animals on the cover. The band name is on the cover.
Technically, that's a monkey, like the other one is technically a monkey, right? Shots. Oh god. It's a go-to dance song. That's your hit. I mean, I'm assuming it's this. Apostrophe is not a symbol. I didn't think so. Okay. I want to say it's this one. Hi, Kage! What's up? But, okay, no, it can't be that one, never mind. It can't be, because it's too long, or it's too short. Alright, I'm just gonna go for it. That changes things. I think it's this one. Let's go.
Poggers.
Poggers.
Fuck. Nice one.
Got it! Let's go! Let's go!
Guess I'm drinking.
We got it. You're fine, Star. Welcome in.
Oh. Hey. Thanks for playing.
You still feel like death? Do you feel any better though?
I'm really glad we did.
Me too. I should get back to work.
Okay.
Alright, cool.
A lot more of the jukebox game in my future.
Hell yeah, we do. Don't play a jukebox game with Alex unless you really like terrible booze. Oh man, I've never been more proud. Aw. Cute. New minor. Wait.
Starting over from scratch like this? I was on duty. Fucking terrifying is what it is.
You're telling me.
It's a security.
Yeah? Do I need to like check on you guys? No, I don't. Do I need to check on you guys? Nope. These guys?
I should check on that table. I should check.
Yes, let me scroll it. Thank you.
Can I get you to anything?
Miss Chen, here at last to relieve our suspense.
Hi.
I am Reginald McAllister.
Reginald the third.
To friends, former.
Wait, how do you get? Okay.
And this young
we got another ducky, folks. We got another ducky.
Nice to meet you. I didn't realize
that we all knew you were coming. Yes, Gabe is generous with both friendship and information.
You're from Portland, right? I moved here from DC 6 months ago. How you finding the small town thing?
I didn't really know what to expect, but it's kind of perfect. It feels like a home.
I know. I really thought I would hate it. Then I saw the mountains.
Small towns. Hey, I grew up in a small town. Sometimes it's nice.
Diane is a geologist, recently working as a process manager for Typhon Mining.
I'm glad there's another newbie.
What are you adding now?
Can I get you anything?
What the heck?
Yeah, we're super hungry. I'd love a pie special with fries.
Cheeseburger with
mushrooms. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Pie special with fries. Cheeseburger with mushrooms. Usual for drink.
I'll go put that
okay.
Thanks.
What? Pie special? Fuck.
That's Charlotte's dispensary.
Okay.
She seems cool.
I already forget.
Behind that mountain man beard, Jed's so obvious.
Hey, Jed.
Yeah.
I've got an order from
Oh
Ducky and
God.
Diane.
Oh no.
Go ahead.
Okay. Burger. Fuck. With mushrooms.
One burger with mushrooms.
Pie special.
And?
Pie special with fries.
One pie special with fries.
Ducky asked for his usual?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
I think I did the right. I don't know. I don't remember.
I keep a personal bottle for him.
You're about to go to bed, but then you're like, how long us to get on watch you finish this episode? Wait, I don't know if I'm gonna finish the entire episode.
Now wait.
We'll see. We'll see.
I bet
You're not
Ducky
gonna
took that
edit
bottle
now because
upstairs
it's not
last
funny.
night.
When you have to do it twice. Wait.
Yeah, he and Gabe went on carousing.
Hope it's
long
going
after
well. You're
closing.
over your brother's stream.
Oh, yeah?
It's a continuation of Life is Strange
Yeah.
2. It's a whole new game. It's a
Serves
whole
him
new
right, if
game.
you ask me. But feel free to go upstairs and look for it. I'm sure he'd be grateful.
How's your brother doing on his stream?
If you can't find it, Deputy Pike was with them. Might have some idea. He's usually in here around now. Probably arriving soon.
Your watches wish I do. Alright, no problem, Josh.
There must be something around the Black Lantern that can help me find Ducky's prized whiskey.
Haven is nice. Just wish it felt like home.
Hope we both get there soon.
Aww. So sad. Alright, so we're looking for whiskey, right? Clear the table in the back, find Ducky's whiskey. Okay. Clear the table in the back. Clear the table in the back. Where's the table in the back? What? Uh-oh.
Shit. Now Mac's scared.
That's fine.
At least he's not freaking out anymore. He won't make me lose control.
Rip to Mac. There's still a bit to go, you'll say, so I guess you want this from yeah. I'm assuming I'm gonna do half an episode per stream. He's playing Tales of Arise. Ooh. That's super cool. Dispensary coupons.
Coupons for weed? What a time to be alive.
Nice.
Idiot. You're gonna lose her. You're gonna lose her and it's all
Wow.
your fault.
At least he's right about something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Holy shit.
Can I talk to you real quick?
Do you want to put his name in the chat, Britt?
What do you want?
Listen, what happened upstairs was fucked up, right? From both of us.
That is bullshit. And you know it. I was defending Gabe from you.
Yeah, you're right.
He was just wearing a mask.
Over here. She's pretty heated. I don't think it helps to recap all the gory details, you know?
You really are a piece of shit.
Yep.
Look, she's gonna break up with me otherwise.
Well, good. If you go over and beat the shit out of somebody random like that, yeah, you kind of deserve it.
Best thing that's ever happened to me.
No, I'm not gonna help you out, you dumb piece of shit. Jesus Christ.
Help me out.
What the fuck?
I don't know, man.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god. Look at your face.
No, it's okay.
Oh, that's Riley. Alright.
Don't even. What were you thinking? Where's Gabe?
I wanna go tell her everything that happened, dude.
Why do you give a shit?
Because my boyfriend just got into a fight with him. I swear. This is it. You better have a good explanation, or
done.
It's not my fault. I just wanted to talk to the guy.
About what?
About you! About why you guys are meeting behind my back.
Okay. So how did the fight happen?
The bastard sucker punched me.
No! Nuh-uh.
Okay, not exactly sucker punched, but he definitely started it.
No way.
Oh God. Were you there too?
Sure was. I know that beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I was there. Mac's telling you a whole lot of bullshit.
Get the fuck out of here.
That doesn't even surprise me anymore. So what really happened?
Riley.
Mac barged in, accused Gabe of sleeping with you, sucker punched him, and then kicked him while he was down.
Riley, listen.
What happened to Mac's face?
I beat the shit out of him.
I did that. Oh, good. It sounds like you deserved it. Thanks for telling me the truth, Alex.
You started feeling bad for who, though?
Okay.
Are you fucking serious? I'm so embarrassed by you right now.
But are we still together?
What do you think, you fucking idiot? No.
Hell yeah.
Assaulting Mac Loudon on your first day here, huh? I'm Jason Pike, the deputy sheriff. I'm gonna have to take you in for questioning.
Well, shit.
Mac assaulted Gabe. He's the one you want.
Your face. You should see your face. Oh, jeez.
Wait, what?
No, I'm only kidding. Nobody's in trouble here.
That's hardly a
I
prank.
just like to prank you.
Alright, I hate you too. Get out of here.
I've never been pranked by a cop before.
Yeah, that's a
You
fucking
definitely got me.
shitty thing to do. What the hell? What the actual hell?
Maybe. I'm working right now.
You like him?
I'll be at the bar.
Alex,
You want when you
please.
come by, okay?
Oh, Josh, you felt bad for Mac for losing his girlfriend? Dude, he fucking deserved it. Like, you don't just go and, like, beat somebody up and just, like, get to deal with that? Like, I don't know. You didn't know.
She did that to that guy's face. Steering clear.
Hell yeah, you
I'm
are.
already making friends.
Look at me. Fear me. Matt came to you. If Matt came to you to come clean,
all right,
it would have
let's
been
see if I can
different, but
find
he
Ducky's
would be a
whiskey
dick. Yeah, he did be a dick. Alrighty. We gotta find the whiskey. The whiskey. That's not whiskey. If I was whiskey, where would I be? Where would I be hiding? Where do you keep whiskey at, guys?
Now I know where the ramen is.
Ramen.
No whiskey though.
I want ramen. Oh wait, I see it. Maybe over there. Yes, because keeping it on top of a fireplace is definitely definitely where it should be. Yeah, yeah. No, it's still weird. Still weird. Where else would it be? Like, you don't put it in the fridge. That's weird. Huh. It's not in the drawer. Wait, is it underneath there? What's that? No? What? If Gabe put that in the fridge, it's time to disown him. Exactly. So the whiskey ain't here. It's gonna do like a teeny weeny little sweep through again. Teeny weeny. Yellow polka dot bikini. What if it's the dresser, dude? Oh, no, that's how I change my clothes, right? Yeah, that's how I change clothes. Never mind. I don't think I can go upstairs. Can I? Wait, I didn't go in this room. Can I go in this room? Cannot go in this room. Board game. Yeah, I don't think it's in here. If it is, feel free to tell me. But I don't think it's up here. Find the whiskey. I can't find the whiskey.
Had an eventful night.
It
Wonder
is
if there
in
might be
here?
more clues about that downstairs.
No way. No way. There's no way. I probably need to search where? This drawer that I already looked in?
Guess I kind of gave Gabe the right. Anita, wow. Gabe's been looking for me for a while.
Wow. Medals.
What an honor. To
Okay.
be the sister of the Rubber Duck Derby second place finisher.
Wow, where is it?
Huh. I've really changed the art style since I read these.
Wait, sculpture?
Charlotte made this? Gabe
Ooh,
mentioned
that's
she was an
pretty.
artist, but I didn't realize he meant, like,
yeah, you can give me a tiny hint if you want to. Don't want spoilers, so you can't say, but I love you. Oh my god! Quilpy! Quilpy, I love you too! Thank you so much for stopping by. Definitely don't want any spoilers, for sure. No spoiler-roonies.
wait, what? Is that a real live dead deer? Gabe
Books.
brushing up on comics and
Shit.
art? Really going the extra mile for Ethan and Charlotte.
Where does change fall into? People look here in movies for extra money, like pockets? Oh, the couch! No way! No way! No way! Bruh! Who puts it in a couch? What the hell? Who puts whiskey in a couch?
Upstairs. In Gabe's couch?
Depends on how the couch is built. Fred! Hi, Fred!
Must have been a night.
Many thanks.
How you doing, Fred? That took you an hour to find, mate, really? Oh my god. I mean, it would have taken me an hour too, probably.
It's my first day working here, so put in a good word for me, okay?
You just got home? Oh my gosh.
No.
That's awesome, though. What'd y'all do today?
To Miss Alex Chen, a most tenacious detective.
To Alex. Cheers.
Ooh, okay. Weird.
I've done
Weird.
what Jed asked me to do. I should see if he needs anything else.
Alright. You went over to playtest board games for pop-up Gen Con? Ooh, nice. Played Bayou Bash. That's cool. Also, I think I just saw the save, so I think I'm gonna stop here for the day. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there for the day. And let me turn on some music. Maybe. Is it playing? It says it's playing, but I don't hear any music. There it goes. Alright. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there for today. We need to just do some chatting, guys. We need to do some chatting. Let me change it over to chatting. So I don't get banned from Twitch. Where is it? There it is. Just chatting. Alright, so how you doing today? But what? Okay, what's Bayou Bash? What is that? Because I don't know anything about like any new games that are coming out or anything like that. It was fun. What do you do? Like, what's the game about? I'm curious now. The only thing that is missed from that dude is a very British accent. Wait, which dude? The one that we got the whiskey for, or the one like the bartender dude? You got some Mott's fruit snacks? Dude, I want some Mott's fruit snacks. Plot twist, streamer mode turns off every music on your PC. Oh my god. Wouldn't that be hilarious if it did though? So it's like Formula D, but goblins, so a bit more chaotic. Well, that sounds cool, actually. That actually sounds really cool. The professor sounding guy? So wait, do you mean, like the one we, like Ducky, the one we gave the whiskey to? That's who I'm assuming you were talking about. Let's see here. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was just checking something real fast. Your second playthrough of the game you're playing through... Wait. The game you're playing through without sound is funny? Wait. Wait. Second playthrough of the game you're playing. What game? You wrote a raid message. Oh no, what is it? What is it, Lassie? Please tell me. Please tell me. Anyways, hold on. Where did that go? Did that go away? Where'd that go? There it is. By the way, guys, life may be strange, but Stainy's a cutie. Oh my gosh, you're something else. If you guys want to use that one, you can. I'm not, cause that sounds conceited. You meant when you play through this, it's gonna. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Pizza, chicken, or Portuguese? Wait, what? You don't know what to eat for supper? Portuguese is a language! Yeah. Wait, what? Portuguese? What do you call Portuguese over there? I'm confused. Portuguese pre-chicken? What? Why is the language an option for dinner? Right? That was my thought too. Oh my gosh. Alright, you gotta tell me, what kind of chicken is this Portuguese piri chicken? What is this? I also didn't realize there's another I. You guys never say grab me some Chinese for dinner? I normally say Chinese food, not just Chinese. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of weird that way, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Or if I have like a specific place in mind, I say the name of the place. Like China Inn or something like that. Or #1 China! You definitely said that you're gonna go get Chinese. I guess then like it would be the same as saying that. Like if you say you're gonna get some Portuguese, you're gonna get some Chinese. I guess that'd be the same. I don't know, that does sound kinda... It just sounds weird saying you're gonna go grab Portuguese. Oh man. But anyways guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and raid Jessica Rabbit. If you all want to copy the raid message, you can either copy mine or you can copy Leslie's, whichever you would like to copy. If you don't have a sub, switch out my emote with one of yours, something that you like. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you all. And thank you all so much for all the subs and the bits. And for being here and chatting and the hype train. Like, y'all are crazy tonight. I will put more in Discord about the subathon, so keep a lookout about that. The last week of September, last week of this month is gonna be our subathon for my 1-year anniversary on Twitch. So yeah, it's been almost a year, guys. I'm so excited. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing this next week. I don't know how much I'm gonna be streaming. I'm not gonna make a schedule just because I don't want to make one and not be able to adhere to it. So I will see you guys at some point before my subathon, and I'll see you in Discord as well. So keep an eye on the Discord for stuff about our subathon. Yeah. Go give Jess some love, copy and paste the raid messages, whichever one you want, and I'll see y'all around, alright? Have a good week, everybody!